Signaling molecules are very often going to be referred to as ligands. And there is a lot of diversity when we talk about ligands because these are going to elicit or cause a lot of different responses inside of the cell. So you can think of this as the language of the cell. So the different ligands are going to represent different words that the cells would actually be saying to each other. We do classify ligands into three major categories. The very first category is going to be small hydrophobic ligands. So with these small hydrophobic ligands, the key here is going to be that these are going to be able to pass across membranes. Since these are so small and hydrophobic, they are usually going to move by diffusion, and that's going to get them from outside of the cell to the inside of the cell. Usually, these are also going to interact or be sensed by internal receptors. Because again, they'll just diffuse right through, and those internal receptors will then be able to respond to these. As far as examples of small hydrophobic ligands, steroids are a very good example of this. Steroids are able to just diffuse right across the membrane and then interact with those internal receptors. Some of our vitamins, I'm going to put vitamin D here specifically, they are also very characteristic small hydrophobic signaling molecules that are going to pass right across the membrane by diffusion. Besides these small hydrophobic ligands, we also have some that are not going to be able to just pass across the membrane so easily. So our second group is going to be what we would call the water-soluble ligands. And if something is water-soluble, they are really polar, because polar things are what's going to actually dissolve in water. So with these, because they are polar, they are not going to cross membranes. And since they don't cross membranes, we're going to have to rely on those cell surface receptors. These are typically going to bind to the extracellular domain of these cell surface receptors. So they're going to bind to that extracellular domain, and then once they bind, we're going to get that desired response or that shape change in that cell surface receptor. Examples of these, they are very diverse. They can be rather small, they can be rather large as well, but we're talking a lot of times about proteins, maybe some little peptides. We could have just small molecules as well that would fall into this water-soluble category. For the third group, the major type of signaling molecule is going to be dissolved gases. Dissolved gases are going to be able to diffuse across membranes. And these do tend to elicit a very fast response. And a good example of this is going to be nitric oxide. So nitric oxide can diffuse across the membranes, and then it's going to actually cause a very quick response in the cell, and then at the same time it actually degrades very rapidly. So those are our three types of signaling molecules that can be involved in different responses.